Welcome everyone. We're very excited tonight. Always a special night, and we're speaking tonight about. I want to speak about three pointers that are life lessons. Something very, very important. Let's analyze. What is the beracha that Avraham Avinu is promised? Lech, Lecha, ma'atzecha, muladecha, bedavicha. What is the beracha that he's promised? Anybody know? Three items that he's promised. Who knows? Reuben, go for it. One.
Give him the land to make him a big name.
Oh, that he promised. He's saying good. At the end, when he got there, Hashem showed him the land, and I'd like to just discuss that as you brought that up, Reuben. And that is, it's good. It's good you came tonight because I want to speak about it. It says over there that Hashem, he showed Avraham Avinu the land of Israel, and he said, "You see the land of Israel? I'm giving it to your grandkids, great grandkids. You're going to be in your lineage." And from the fact it says Avraham got that good news, he made a mizbeach. He made like it says in the pasuk. He says when he went off, he says, "Vayavor Avraham ba'aretz." He went all the way there. Vayira Adonai el Avraham vayomed. He tells him, "Lazarecha eten et haaretz hazot." What does it say? I'm giving this land to your children, to your zera. What does it say right after that? Vayiven sham mizbeach. You know what I learned from there? I learned from there, when you receive good news, right away, you have to do something for Hashem as a thankful. Wow, thank you. I'll give you an example. For example, let's say you find out, you get married, you find out that your wife is pregnant. Is good news or not good news?
Good news.
But did the baby come out yet? Yes or no?
No.
Even so, at that moment, you have to be so grateful to Borei Olam. Thank you, Hashem. Do something in order for that good news. At that moment, do something. How do we know that? From Abraham. Did Abraham get the land of Israel when he was traveling? And Hashem says, by the way, this is the land. Did he get the land? Yes or no? He didn't. He just received good news that his grandkids, great-great-grandchildren will get it. So that, Abraham said, I heard such good news, and I saw such good news, even though I'm not receiving it now. Even though I'm not receiving it now, I know it's going to happen. What does it say? Vayiven sham mizbeach. You thank Borei Olam. He made a mizbeach. Thank you. Avraham Avinu was teaching that. You didn't get it, but you know you're going to get it. Some good neuse is happening. Some good news is happening. I heard the good news. Right away, you do something. You do a simha, like wow. I know a person that he was. The doctors were worried about something very dangerous that could be life and death threatening, and he told me that he went in and he heard the good news that he was wow, everything was okay. He went to the nearest kollel that he knows, and he says, "Seudah, I'm donating for all the yeshiva." And he went, "What? What happened?" He heard just good news that everything was okay. You understand? You hear the lesson over here? The lesson is so clear that a person, let's say for example, a person didn't receive it yet. He just found out that his wife is pregnant. It's great news. Even then, start thanking Hashem, do something extra special, like Avraham Avinu. He heard that, your grandkids are going to get this land. He didn't get it yet. Doesn't make a difference. I heard the good news. Let's go. I'm making mizbeach. I'm thanking Hashem. This is the first lesson, by the way. This is the first lesson. Good? Second. Let's go on. Second. So, Reuben, I'm going to ask you again. What are the three things that Hashem promises Avraham Avinu if he leaves the land? He's gonna make him. He's gonna have kids. He's gonna have kids. Albert, you know Albert? What's the three things? He's gonna have kids. Please do me a favor. Move the books because I can't see him. I can't. Money. That's another one. Mammon. And what's the third? Va'agadela shemecha. I'll make you famous. So now I understand parnasa. A person needs money. He needs parnasa. I understand children. A person wants children. But what is fame? What's the beracha of fame? What is the beracha of fame? Tell me. Anybody want to tell me? Anybody want to guess? What's the Hashem says, by the way, if you go, va'agadela shemecha, I'll make you famous.
Power. No?
Power. What's the beracha of power? You're very good, Joe. You got on the money. You hit bullseye. But my question is, you're right. Power. So what's the beracha of power? Fame. I'll make you great. And then what are you going to have? You're going to have power. And then continue. And then.
He leads the nation.
And then what?
He's the leader.
You got it. And then I'll reword it. And then you'll be very influential.
Yeah.
Is that the word you were looking for, Joe?
Yeah.
Then you will be influential. When you become famous and when you're well known, you have more influence on other people. Other people will automatically listen to you. And that is a beracha. Why? Because if you're an influential person, you can get many people on the right path of anything. You get the people on the right path of being religious, or donating money to a yeshiva, or to a shul, or to Beit Midrash, or to Kirv Center, or to Hesed, or to many other institutions. But being the fact that you're so popular and famous, you have the ability to use that fame to influence others to do good. You heard that? That's a very important, that's a very big beracha. There's a guy here, your friend, your friend, was Joseph Dana. He's my witness because he saw yesterday. Let me tell you what happened. We're learning. He's in 11th grade. We learned a new halacha. They said, Rabbi, I never knew it was a chiyuv. It's an obligation, hayav. If you look in the beginning of the 7th perek in Masechet Berachot, we're learning about halacha that a person is obligated. If you have 3 people eating, it could be 2 people having bread, a substantial amount of bread, a kezayit at least of bread, kibitzah bread, 1 ounce of bread, another person eating 1 ounce of bread, another person eating with them as well, even though he's not eating bread, but he's eating a kezayit of something, or drinking a revit of something. The halacha says, dictates over there, that what? That you're chayav to do zimun. And he tells me, Rabbi, I never knew this. Wow, what a halacha. Chayav. And you look, it says, shlosha shachlu chayavin lezamen. It didn't say they shoot, you can. It says you're obligated to do it. After he learned, I said, wow, I didn't know it says it? You're obligated? What did he do? He's a junior, 11th grader. That day, he tells me, he came back that night, he tells me, I said, Rabbi, you know what I did today? I said, what? He says to me, we were sitting on the table, and I was able to get, and we all eating together. It's just like you're sitting there, you're sitting there, you're sitting there, you're sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in a restaurant, and just like a fast food pickup place, and we're all together. We're a group of 30 guys, but we're all together as one group. But just we couldn't fit, so people there. So he said, I went around, and for Birkat Hamazon, I made sure that everybody comes together on one table at that time. And we did zimun all together. With 10, with the whole 9 yards. I was like, how'd you do that? Who was there? He's like, yeah, I got the 11th graders, I got the 12th graders. I said, wait, you're a junior or you're a senior? He said, no, I'm a junior. I said, how'd you get the 12th graders? He didn't answer, he was humble. But then I figured, he's influential. He's influential. And you use that influence to influence others to do good. That's a power that you use usefully to do good. See that guy in the back? His name's Jack Lalo. Okay? He's a 10th grader. Yeah, Jack, you don't mind, huh? Give it or not, you're already on camera, huh? Jack Lalo, let me tell you something. I know him since 8th grade. I know him for 8th grade. Remember we had classes, you and I, for all the boys? Huh? I know his boys, 8th grade, all his boys. He's in 10th grade. What happens? Says, Rabbi, I want a night program. I want my boys to learn. And guess what? He has the power of influence that he got all his boys to come and learn at nights. Yeah, it's a wild power. If you have that power, you have to use it and influence others for good. You hear what's going on over here? And now he tells me, Rabbi, I'm working on another project. What's the next project? He says, I'm bringing now boys that they come extra early on Shabbat, every morning, every Shabbat, to learn extra early in the shul. A new project. Correct? Yes or no, Jack?
Of course.
You hear what's going on over here? He's doing another project. And why? Because when a person has that fame or that influence of power, he has the ability to influence others to do good. That's a very important thing. And you know what? People might think, they're hearing this and say, oh no, Rabbi, but I'm not like that. I'm not the leader, I'm not that powerful, I'm not that this, I'm not that. You are. You know how you are? I'll tell you. You are definitely influential, especially with the people around you. You have a younger brother?
Yes.
You're influential, definitely, to your younger brother. I have a younger brother. And you know what happened? When I came back from Israel, I'm going back maybe 8 years ago. I saw my younger brother once. I said, "You're waking up too late." He wasn't waking up too late, but he was waking up like, let's say for example, Minyan is he was going to the 8:30 Minyan. I said, "Soli, I need you earlier. You need to go 7. You're going to go learn. I don't know. Da, da, da." I said, no. We're going to learn before, we're going to learn after. Guess what? As an older brother, I'm influential on my younger brother. The next morning, I picked him up. I went. I got him a havruta, and he's been learning ever since. Not only an hour, maybe 4 hours a day for years with Rabbi David Asher. For 4 years, maybe 5, now 8 years now. What to do? Because you are influential to people around you. You don't have to be that most popular guy or the most popular girl to influence others. You have the people around you where you can influence. You understand how powerful you are? All you do, you call your best friend. I'm going to a class and I come by. You're influential. Look at him. He brought his father. He's influential. We're so grateful that you came. But he's influential. You know how much power a child has with his parents? Because a parent wants to do everything for the child. So imagine now the child says, "Oh, by the way, Daddy, I'm going to a class. Can you come with me?" You know how he feels? The father's like, "Wow, true or not true? You feel good, no? Feels great." And there you have it. So therefore, everybody has influence on the people around you. So you don't have to be the most famous. But at the end of the day, the Torah is saying, Avraham Avinu got that beracha of being so famous that everybody knew him. I believe they even said they minted his coin. You know that Avraham Avinu coin, the Sarah minted coin. It's wild. Because he was so famous. He was so influential. And he used that power to influence so many people to come to the Kanfei Shekhinah, to come to be in the religious realm of being Jewish, regular Jewish. So that is the second lesson we're learning tonight. First lesson we said was what? You hear good news like Abraham heard good news, right away thank Borei Olam. It didn't come yet. Doesn't make a difference. Just thank Hashem. You can thank Hashem. Oh, I heard great news. Thank you, Hashem. Wow, amazing. Second thing we're learning, what's the beracha? We said there's 3 berachot that Abraham Avinu was promised. What was the 3 berachot that Abraham Avinu was promised when he went? We said mammon, money, parnasah. We said children, he's going to have a child. And the third thing is what? A famous name. V'agadla shemecha. We asked, who cares if you have a famous name? And we answered, the influence that you can have on others. You have, like you said, power. The power is supposed to go ahead and influence others. You have power on your family. You have power on your siblings. You have power amongst you, around you, and use that to influence others. And guess what? I have a secret for you. When you want to do good, the other person feels the vibe, the body language, and they're like, okay, I'm coming. And all it takes is one word. You could have brought 10 guys tonight in 2 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. You could have, because I know you have the influence. So use it. You got to use it. From now on, call your boys. Wednesday night, boom, 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 boom. Use it. Why not? It's a beracha. It's a beracha. The third lesson. This, I like to ask a question on this. And this question I have is, we know one of the first tests, Avraham Avinu, we say they had 10 tests. The first one was what? This one. Lech, Lecha, Ma'atzecha, right? Go to a foreign land, and that was one of his tests. Just go. I don't know where you're going. As she explains, he didn't know where he's going. Why? Because now every step that he takes, it's a reward. Because now he's willing to go wherever Hashem takes him. Okay, you want me to walk from here to Mars? Okay, I'll just walk. No problem, I'll keep on walking. So Avraham Avinu is getting a step as if he went to Mars. It doesn't make a difference where. But the question is that I have, how is it a test if Hashem is promising, Parnasah, child, good name. How is that a test for Avraham Avinu? Can you answer me? How is that a test? Imagine I tell you, oh, by the way, I'm trying to let you know, if you drive me to here, I'm going to give you $1 million. How is that a test? You hear the question? Solid question? Strong question. This I always had. This the Or HaHaim HaKadosh gives an answer. The Or HaHaim gives an answer. And I'm going to answer this question through the following story. The Havetz Chaim, one time, they asked him, they're saying, Rabbi, said, what's wrong? There was a difficulty. One of the students, how do you do a mitzvah strictly for Hashem? Now again, there's 3 levels, Mitzvah Yishim says. One is, and everyone, you should do. Every level, do. I'm going to give you the lowest to the highest. The lowest is, you're doing mitzvot, you're keeping the Torah, so you get good in this world. The second, that's all, but it's grade level. Do it. Do it. Do it. I know people that they went and they told me that the reason why they went to Israel for the year, because they knew when they came back they're starting their business, and therefore they wanted to learn to get barakah, so they worked back in the business. Totally not Hashem's mind, but it doesn't make a difference. Totally okay. 100% okay. 100% okay. He told me, I literally went to Israel for the year. I finished high school. I went to Israel for the year. I know I'm going to learn. I come into my business now with so much barakah that I learned so much here for a whole year of Torah. That totally okay. Great. It's a little higher level. Were you doing it for Olam Haba? You're doing it for Gan Eden. Alright? It's great level. Now you're going to the next level. It's like, wow, you believe in Olam Haba, you believe in Gan Eden. Wow! It's true. Everyone was, if I would take you right now and open up Gan Eden and see the reward that you're getting from listening to one word of Torah, you will never ever leave the Beit Midrash. You would make sure food will come in here. You don't have to go outside. You'll never leave. You'll go insane. You'll go meshuga. You'll go crazy. You'll go wild. So that's why you don't see that reward. Otherwise, nobody would leave the Beit Midrash. No, imagine nobody would leave the Beit Midrash. You know what that means? You'll never ever ever leave. It's a wild thing. You see the reward, like, whoa. Now, they asked Havetz Chaim. The reward. So wait, what's the highest level? The third level is what? Were you doing it solely for Hashem's sake? And the Rambam brings down that in order to enter Olam Haba, one mitzvah, at least one mitzvah in your lifetime, at least one mitzvah has to be totally L'Shem Shamayim. One mitzvah, at least. That gives you the key. One mitzvah. Totally L'Shem Shamayim. And what's totally L'Shem Shamayim? Totally for Hashem's sake. No ulterior gain, but to make Hashem happy. That's it. That's it. There's even a story, a famous story with the Gaon Mevilna. How one time they were looking for etrog. They were looking for etrog. And you know what happened with etrog? There was one guy, very wealthy guy, that had it in like maybe 2-hour drive for a 2-hour ride from where they're going from the left lived. the two Gabaim went to him. They asked him, listen, the Gaon Vilna needs a etrog. Can we get an etrog? Something is that. He says, no, this is my etrog. He says, no, we'll pay you anything you want. How much you want? How much you want? Whatever you want, we'll pay you. Imagine open checkbook. You know what? Here, I'll sign the bottom. Now you write what you want to write in the check. Blank check, my signature. Go write it. He said, no, I'm not taking the check. So what do you mean? The Gaon Vilna needs the thing. It's not for sale. He says, is there any way we could get the etrog from you? He says, one way. I'll give it to the Gaon Vilna on one condition. The entire mitzvah of etrog is mine. The entire mitzvah. That means the Gaon Vilna is going to do it. I'm sure he's going to have the most wildest kavanot. He's going to shake the shamayim. You know, the Gaon Vilna, when he shook the lulav and etrog, when does he shake the lulav and etrog? When he shook the lulav and etrog, the whole shamayim is shaking. You know, like, oh, the Gaon is holding the lulav. You know, we're going like this. Like that. The Gaon does it, forget about it. All the shamayim, what's going on? Something's shaking the world. Just the Gaon Vilna shake of the lulav. So he says, I know that. I'll give him my etrog, one condition. That entire mitzvah of Olam Haba, the entire Gan Eden that he's going to do with the mitzvah of Lulav and etrog is mine completely. If you agree, take the etrog. Now the Gabais are looking at it, what do we do? What do you mean? We're dealing with Gan Eden over here, we're dealing with Olam Haba over here. Like, you have to understand something. When you're dealing with Olam Haba and Gan Eden, in factuality, you're not dealing with like $1 million. You're dealing with $1 trillion. You're dealing with eternity. Eternity means forever and ever. That means the reward that you get for one mitzvah is forever and ever. So you're dealing with eternity. With 100 billion years, it still keeps on going. For that one reward. That one reward is still ongoing 100 billion years. You understand what's going on over here? So they're dealing with 1 billion, even though it's one mitzvah. It's a billion times reward every single second. So they don't know what to do. They're looking back, and he's looking back, and he's looking back, and he's looking back. They don't know what they're getting confused. What do? They go by him, they take it, say, okay, deal. So the question is, how do they agree? You have to ask the Gaon. They said they'll ask the Gaon. If he says no, they'll take the etrog back. So they said, we have nothing to lose. Let's take it. They take it, they sign, signature. You know the whole 9 yards. Signature. You know, signature, sign. And I just take it, sign. Should I tell you in a parentheses a story that happened to me in Israel, my second year in Israel? You ready for this? I'll tell you on a side note, and I'll go back to the Gaon story. You ready for this? I'll tell you something crazy. I'm in Israel. Listen to this. There is a rule. If you're in Israel more than 3 months, you have to have a stamp. 3 months, you have to have a stamp. So one of the guys, he got a bus together, and he got all the guys, he got like 30 guys, and what happens is, that moment, I didn't know any of this, they go to one of the parliaments, one of the officials, and they skip the whole line, and they do it right away. Boom, 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 boom. All 30 of them, one shot. He made it like a meeting type. So I'm sitting learning my Havruta. It's 12 o'clock. 11:30 a.m. And we learn from 9:30 till 12. 12 o'clock we have shiur, till 12 to 1. And I see him closing the Gemara. I look at my Havruta. I said, what are you closing your Gemara for? What is this? I said, we're not over until 1. What are you doing? I told him, what are you doing? He says, you didn't hear? I said, hear what? He says, everybody's going to the thing. They're getting their thing stamped. It's, I was like, during learning? I looked at him like, during learning? I said, no, you might have Ruta. No, we're not going to stop. He says, no, you're not understanding this, that. I said, what's going to happen if you don't go? He said, what happens is, they fine you when you get to the airport, they give you a fine. I said, how much is it? That's about $180. $180? I said, no problem. If you get caught, I'll pay for it. If you get caught, I'll pay for it. Open up your Gemara back. You serious, is that? I said, yeah. Open up your Gemara back. I take out a pen and paper. I write, pen and paper, the half hour extra, hour and a half extra, the half hour that I'm learning with you, and the hour that you can learn in shiur till 1 o'clock will be my Torah learning. And I promise you, if I wrote it down, I guarantee you, if you get caught, I pay you the 180 fine. But the hour and a half that you're learning now is mine in Gan Eden. This hour and a half is mine. That was my thing. We went to a rabbi, his name was Rabbi Wolf. He was one witness. I got the rabbis to sign. I'm not getting it. The rabbis, 2 witnesses to sign. Rabbi Wolf signed. We're going to take 2 signatures on this. Now, I still remember. I'll never forget. I'm going to the second rabbi to get his signature. My Havruta starts flipping out. Forget it. Ruben, he rips it up. I says, I'm staying. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay. Don't worry. I don't want you taking away any Gan Eden from me. No, nothing. I'm staying on my own rights. Don't sign. He was going wild because he finally realized that, whoa, this is real stuff. So it knocked sense into him. So he said, forget it. I'm not doing it. That day in shiur, he was with me and him, and one more guy that was in the shiur. One more guy, he was big tzaddik, he didn't leave the Bim. Me, him, and him. That was it. Us 3. Should I tell you the end of the story? 1 o'clock came, 1 o'clock's lunch, 1:30's lunch. 1:30 came, and the bus came back. And we're eating lunch, we just came down for lunch. And I said, oh, you guys got the stamps? He says, no. So what do you mean? They said, we all have to come back Friday at this time. I look, Friday at that time, we have all from yeshiva. Everybody could go that time. I said, how do you expect to have beracha to close the Gemara for the 30 guys to get the beracha from a passport of a stamp? Who's in charge? The guy behind the stamp or Borei Olam? They saw that they couldn't believe it. It was a story of history in that. It was a story of it. What? Nobody got their passport signed until that Friday when nobody was learning. Because what? He had beracha, you're learning. What are you talking about? And my Havruta was looking at me, holy cow, imagine I would have went, I can't believe it. You saved me. Because you have to really believe in Gan Eden. You have to really believe in it. And even if you sit and talk about the belief in Gan Eden and the reward for mitzvah for 100 years straight, just to get it inside your brains is worth it. Just to understand what God's going to give after 120 years of long, healthy life. The most craziest Gan Eden. So now over here, I ask you a question. How can a person do something l'shem shamayim? If I tell you the reward is so great, how can you do it only for God's sake? Imagine I tell you right now, but do me a favor, pour me water, but when you pour me water and give it to me, I'm going to give you $1 million. $1 million. I have $1 million, but I'll give you $5,000. No, let's not give big numbers. I'll give you $5,000 cash right now in front of everybody. $5,000 cash, but go give me water. But here's the money. Give me the water, but when you give me the water, you can only do it not because you're getting the 5,000, only because you love me. It's very hard. The stakes are high. $1 million. I'm giving you $1 million on condition that you make me a cup of tea and thinking you don't want the $1 million at all. I just want a cup of coffee. I'm only doing it because I love you so much. I only want the. Could you do that? Yes or no? Is it going to be hard for you to do that? Imagine I tell you right now, I'm giving you $1 million. Do me a favor. Go down the block. Buy me. I want a nice hot cup of tea. Buy me a cup of coffee. Buy me a ginger ale. Go. I'm giving you $1 million. Here's $1 for the ginger ale, and the $1 million is for you. But just know, as you're going there and getting me the ginger ale, think that you're not doing it for the $1 million only because I told you to get me the ginger ale. Could you do it? Could you do it? You'll do it either way, but could you do it just for that and not for the $1 million?
That's hard.
It's very hard.
After you mentioned it.
Guess what? Avraham Avinu, he knew that he was getting parnasah. He knew that he was getting a child. He knew that he was going to be famous. And guess what? He only did it because he loved Hashem. Highest level. And who says that? The Rahim HaKadosh. And he proves it. How does he prove it? The Torah says it. How? Listen carefully to the pasuk I'm about to tell you. It says, "Vayomer Adonai el Avraham, Lech Lecha me'artzecha." What does it start with? Vayomer. Vayomer is a nice tone of voice, do it. And then at the end, what does it say? Vayelech Avraham Ka'asher. What should it say? Ka'asher Amar Elav. In the beginning, what does it say? It says Vayomer Hashem el Avraham Lech Lecha. At the end, it says what? Vayelech Avraham Ka'asher Amar Hashem. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay.
Make sense? Joe, you hear again. It says, Vayomer Adonai el Avraham lech lecha. At the end it says, Vayelech Avraham ka'asher amar elav Hashem. The Pasuk doesn't say that. The Pasuk says, Vayelech Avraham ka'asher diber elav. Diber is not amar. Diber is more of a tzivui, because I commanded you to do that. So in the beginning of the parasha, I'm just talking to you. But at the end, Abraham, when he actually fulfills that mitzvah of going, it says, didn't say kasher amar elav Hashem, kasher diber elav Hashem. You know why? Because Abraham Avinu is going. Why? Only because God said, and he didn't even care about the reward. Because he loved Hashem so much. I don't care if you give me $100 billion. My love for you, God, is so great. Forget all the money in the world. I'm just infatuated with love with you. I don't care about anything but you. I love you so much. I don't care about nothing. Understand? Sometimes a person, he gets in love with, let's say for instance, he's going out with he wants to marry this girl. He's so in love, he forgets everything around him. You ever see a person like that or no? He forgets everything around him. I'll never forget, there was a person I knew. I was in Israel for that my first year. The person was going out with somebody else, and it happens to be the person left in the middle of the year because he was infatuated with her, and he was always scared that maybe this girl, if he's going to be in Israel, the girl's going to marry somebody else. He was madly, he couldn't concentrate, he couldn't focus. You have to be in love with Hashem so much where you don't care about anything but you. Hashem, I love you. I don't care if you give me $100 trillion. Again, it's a high level. We're talking about Avraham Avinu's level. But that's what Avraham Avinu was. And that's why the Pasuk says, Vayomer Adonai el Avraham. Hey, he spoke to him. Lech lecha. I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that. At the end it says, he went, Kasher diber elav Hashem. Not Kasher amar elav Hashem, Kasher diber. I'm not going for the reward. I'm only going because you told me to. Because you commanded to. And that was the Nisayon of Avraham Avinu. Now you understand the Nisayon. Imagine I'm telling you I'm giving you $1 trillion, but only do it because you love me. Very hard. Very hard. Abraham did it. Because he loved Hashem so much so he could negate any reward. Beautiful? Gorgeous. Now we're going to end off with this. Tonight we're going to end off with this. You ready? There's a midrash that says, Midrash Rabbah says, it quotes 2 big tests. Avraham, we know Pirkei Avot says 10 tests Nisa Avraham. Quotes 2 big tests. What's the big tests? One test was, first one was Lech Lecha Ma'artzecha. Go out of your land. We don't know where you're going. What are you going to be? Second, the last test was what? Who knows? Akedat Yitzhak. And what does it say by Akedat Yitzhak? I'll read it to you. What does it say? It says over there, if you look in the Akedah, it says, Vayomer kachna et bincha, take your son, et yechidecha, the only one, asher ahavta et Yitzchak, velech lecha, el ha'aretz eretz Moriah. What does this word say? Velech lecha. Is it the same words as the first test?
Yeah.
Lech lecha. The Midrash says there's 2 tests of Abraham about Lech lecha. Lech lecha from your land. Lech lecha, take your son. So the Midrash over there says, which of the 2 was a harder test for Abraham? Which of the 2 is a greater test? Is it the first Lech Lecha or is it the last Lech Lecha? The first starts Lech Lecha Ma'atzecha, and the second, the last one, like we read in the Pasuk, Velech Lecha El Eretz HaMoriah. Which one is stronger test?
Last one.
What do you think? First or last?
First.
You just said last.
He said last.
You said last?
Yeah.
Anybody say first?
I said first.
Guessing game, or you think
No, I
why?
said before.
You can say the first because it's a mental test, and the last is just physical. But I still think that
Interesting.
Because the first, the second, at the last 30
Okay.
is so all like the miracles and stuff.
Okay. Wow. Joe, you're on fire. The guy's on fire. All right. So the Midrash answers the last Lech Lecha was the hardest test, right? Until today, what do we do every single Rosh Hashanah, the holiest day? What do? We blow the shofar. Why? To remember Akedah Hak. What do we say every single morning? Look at this Yidud. We say before the early prayers, the early rises, the early prayers, before early shul. What does it say? Oh, you speak about Akedah Hak, so we want to remind Hashem about Akedah Hak. Of course, Hashem knows in order to uplift. Remember Akedah Hak. Mazbut or mazbut? Can or lo? Okay. So now we know that. The question that they ask on this midrash, isn't it obvious? One is, go to the land where you don't know where you're going. And one is, Lech, go and sacrifice your son. Which one? I need a midrash to say which one's greater or not. Obviously, you ask Reuben, he knows, he tells me the last, obviously, that's what you said. So you need a midrash? Must be that it's not so obvious. Why is it not so obvious? I hear what he said, Joe, but I'm going to tell you what Rabbi Yashiv says. Like this. It says in Gemara Sukkah, on Daf Nun Bet Amud Aleph, page 52a, says over there, like that one, 52a, Nun Bet Amud Aleph, it says over there, Atid Lavo, we're going to go and take the Yetzer Hara, and what are we going to do? Shechita. Hashem's going to Hashem's going to shochet the Yetzer Hara. Shechita. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? There's going to be tzaddikim saying things, and the Reshaim are going to be saying things, and the Reshaim are going to say, this was the Yetzer Hara. This was the Yetzer Hara. Just a small hair, a line of hair. I don't know if we have Masechet Sukkah over here. I'll read it to you. I don't know. Do we have a Sukkah over there? Ruben, you want to check in the back real quick to see if there's a Sukkah in the back? Just real quick. If there's not, I'm not going to continue with the shiur. But it says over there that the Reshaim were looking and they're saying, this is the Yetzer Hara? It's a hair. It's nothing. It's nothing. This is the whole fight I had my whole life with this little thing? How could it be? How could it be? But I have a question. Is that true? The Yetzer Hara is just a hair? Piece of hair? Is that true? Is it true, yes or no?
No.
So, but the Gemara is saying, the Reshaim, the wicked are going to say it's just a hair. It's a lining. So is it true or not true? You're telling me it's not true, but it's the Gemara says it's true. The Reshaim are going to say that. So what's the explanation to it? This needs explanation. Yes, Joe, yes or no?
Yeah.
It needs explanation. Give it to me, please. Nun bet. Hey. You got it? You got it for me? Huh? Here. Right here. What does it say over here? It says, La'atid lavo mevi hakadosh baruch hu liyetzer hara. Ve'shochato. And it says shechita. Hashem will do shechita. And V'reshaim it says, Nidmeh lahem kechut ha'sa'ara. It's like what? Like a kechut ha'sa'ara. How is the Yetzer Hara? And you know what they're going to say? And they start crying. Reshaim buchim. The Reshaim going to start crying. How are we not going to, how didn't we conquer it? Even HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that. How is it a line? I'll explain. I'll give you an example of a cigarette. A cigarette. You ever hear of a lig? What do they call it? A lig? Huh? They call it a lig?
A lig, yeah.
A lig?
A lig, yeah.
Cigarette, lig. They have a cigarette. Right? Yeah, the guy wants to look cool, sharp, everybody's smoking. Like, he's 15, 16. Yo, bro, you saw this, man? Yo, come and check it out. I got a lig. Come, take a puff with me. No, man, I don't know. Don't be no loser. Come on. All right, bro, I'll take one. He takes the first puff. Oh, he goes, The next day for lunch, they go to the side and the train stays in the back. Let's go, one more. Ugh. By the sixth time, here comes the regular, What's up, boys? How you doing? How's everything? How you doing? What are you chilling? What are you doing tonight? Understand? Then he became a regular. And now, he's smoking a pack a day. He's smoking a pack a day. If he would have said no and put his foot down, no, I'm not giving it an inch. And he's firm. And he tells his boys, no. Oh, chill. We won't give you another one. But just calm down. They'll never give him again. The rest of his life, he made his decision. He'll never smoke a cigarette. It's that simple. But since he let the Yetzer Hara go in, little by little, little by little, little by little, little by little, before you know it, the guy's doing every Avodah on the book. Because he gave it an inch. You can't give it an inch. And that's exactly what the Hashem are going to say. If I just would have put my foot down from the first time the Yetzer Hara wanted to make me sin, and I would tell him, no Yetzer Hara, I would scream my living daylights, no Yetzer Hara, everything would have been okay. So it's what? It's the beginning. If you could crack the beginning and put a stop, that's it. Understand? It's the beginning that hurts. Yes? No. Boom, I'm done. And vice versa. So therefore, what was Abraham? What was the first test? Was Lech Lecha Ma'atzecha. You think the Yetzer Hara wasn't playing games with Abraham at that moment? You don't think that he was playing this, that. But what did he do? Abraham put his foot down. I'm going to pass this test. What happens when you pass the test? Mitzvah gorere mitzvah. It leads to, you pass greatness, it leads to the next greatness. You go to the next level. You go to the next level. But what? To crack the first test is the hardest. And that's why the Midrash is saying, which one is harder? Is it the first one or is it the last one? We conclude it's the last one. But at the end of the day, is the first one very hard? Yes. You know why? Because you got to crack it. You got to break it. It's the first one. You know that guy who wants to learn but doesn't really want to learn, and you finally crack him. You tell him, could you come to class? I had a guy here. He begged the guy, he was working out with him, begged him, just come one class. He came after 4 years of begging the guy and he didn't stop. Come. He says, you're asking me for 4 years. I'm going to come on condition you ever ask me again. The guy came it's a true story. The guy came one time. And Baruch Hashem, he keeps Shabbat, he keeps everything now. One time. Why? Cracked the beginning. Rabotai, what we learned tonight was great lessons. Remember the lessons. Go over the shiur. Send out the shiur. Let other people educate other people, like we said. Remember, you heard good news? What do? Thank Borei Olam. Just hearing it, even though you didn't get it yet. Abraham heard that his kids are getting Israel. He was giving his back to Hashem, but he didn't get it yet. Doesn't make a difference. I heard good news. I'm ready, Hashem. Thank you. Second one we say. Who remembers? What was the second thing we said?
Fame.
Fame. We said, what was Abraham Avinu's beracha? That you be famous. What's fame? Fame is you get influence. And if you have influence, you can help others. And everybody has influence in their own way. Whether from their parents, whether their siblings, whether they're friends. But everybody can influence somebody else to do good. Third lesson was what? The highest level, like we said, of Abraham Avinu was he only did it for what? That's the highest level. It's a wild level. Right? We said in this class, do it even if you're doing it for reward, do it. And I tell you that because I'm learning from rabbis that told me that. Do it anyway for any reward. For this world, for the next world, anything. Just do it. You want to get this a very high level? Only the Shem Shamayim. Very high level. But you'll reach it eventually. But now, do every mitzvah for the sake of any reward that you can. Just do it. And the last lesson we said was what? The fourth one was what? This one. You crack the first one. And then you'll see it leads to the next and leads to the next. Whether good, whether bad. If it's good, you cracked it was hard. Now it leads more good things, more good things, more good things. Heaven forbid bad. The Reshaim say, if I would have cracked it in the beginning, I wouldn't do that bad thing, then nothing would have happened. Bezrat Hashem will be zocheh. Only good things. Thank you very much, everyone. And again, review the lessons, spread out the shiur, which will only be matzliach, and we'll see you, Bezrat Hashem, next time.